Welcome to Jets Talk. My name is Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, I want to talk about a little story / rumor that Jet fans are kind of talking about. Jets obviously have some offensive line woes. We're trying to figure out which pieces make the most sense in which position, trying to get the best 5 offensive linemen in front of Aaron Rodgers to make this playoff push that we're all hoping we're going to go on this year. And there's a little bit of, I don't know, maybe trade rumors going around the NFL. Zack Martin, the guard from the Cowboys, elite level guard, potentially on the market. The Jets have some offensive linemen, one in particular that's incredibly flexible on position. Now, interior-wise, it seems like guard, center, those 3 positions, for the most part, are our most concrete in terms of starters being in place, or at least having a viable replacement in place if need be. When you look at the tackles, you got Mekhi Becton coming back from injury. We're hoping he can take over that left tackle 1 or even a right tackle 1 type position, but we haven't seen him play with the number 1s yet. Dwayne Brown coming back from injury. He's 38 years old. Is he going to be able to perform to the same level that he's performed to in the past? You have Max Mitchell, the young gun, on the right-hand side coming back from his blood clot situation, injury, whatever you want to call it. Is he going to be able to step up and be a starter for this season? We saw him look pretty good in some limited action last year. And then you have, obviously, Carter Warren, who we drafted this year, who I think a lot of people are probably pegging to be a developmental tackle at this point in time. But the interesting scenario that comes into play is the thought of moving Elijah Vera Tucker, our all-pro, or what we seem to think is going to be an all-pro caliber right guard for the foreseeable future for the New York Jets. Move him out to right tackle because he's played left tackle, right tackle, and both guard positions over the course of his time with the New York Jets. And if you need to put the best 5 linemen out in front of you, is there a situation where it would make sense to move Elijah Vera Tucker to the right-hand side and trade for someone like Zack Martin and slot him into one of the guard positions? And could that create a better overall offensive line than what you already have in the building? Or, if you were to go out and try and trade for a tackle, what combination really makes the most sense here? Now, Zack Martin is in the middle of a holdout with the Cowboys. He has been fined, I believe it's $600,000 up to this point, and he wants a new contract. He's set to make $7 million this year. We'll get into it in just a second. He's set to make that much in base salary. Obviously, his cap number is a little bit higher because he had a big signing bonus at the time. That money was already paid out when he signed his initial contract. So he's actually only earning this year the million dollars. So could there be a situation where he gets traded, gets a new contract, and then the Jets are all nice and happy and we go on this run? So let's get into Zack Martin first and foremost. He's 33 years old. He plays right guard right now. He's been a guard his entire career. If traded, $1.7 million this year, $14 million next year. That's his base salary. Like I said, the prorated bonus portion of his contract was paid out initially when he signed that contract. So those numbers that you see as far as his Cowboys cap hit is not actually what he's getting paid this year. That's probably where the money factor is coming in. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler and a 6-time All-Pro in the NFL. He's played in 137 of 145 games. This guy has been rock solid. Now, as far as last year, how was he valued? According to Over the Cap, he's basically valued at about $10 million. If you look at a lot of his numbers, you'll see the highs and lows, but averaged out, I think it worked out to be like $10.5, $10.7 million. So if you think maybe that's what he's looking, unless he's trying to get like $20 million a year to get, be like the top paid guard on the market, which is definitely possible. But I think the 1.7 million number is probably more of the issue than necessarily having to get 20 million right now off the bat. But he's clearly playing at a high level here, as his valuation kind of indicates. So does this make sense? Would the Jets do this at all? Well, the Jets already tried to get Zack Martin once before. When the Jets and Joe Douglas were trying to trade Jamal Adams, one of the packages that the Cowboys were offered, or not even offered, but the Jets, to have the conversation, the Jets wanted Zack Martin in the trade for Jamal Adams. So would Joe Douglas want to go back to that well and say, hey, you know what? I do want this offensive lineman. He has been rock solid. Of course, this is, 4 years later or whatever it is going into this thing. And it's, 4 years older, obviously. But at the very least, you have an offensive line scout, former offensive line scout, now GM, and Joe Douglas, who really wanted this guy. And Could this make a lot of sense? Well, I think the other piece of this puzzle is looking at Elijah Vera Tucker and seeing how he performed on the right tackle side of things. Now, he played right tackle for 3 games for the New York Jets, 79.2, 47.7, and 74.2 grades. That was Miami, Green Bay, Denver, I believe. So it wasn't a whole lot of snaps, probably the first half of the Denver game for week 7. But clearly, I think he's our best offensive tackle on the team right now and our most consistent. Now, does it make sense to make this kind of move? The Jets currently have $16 million in salary cap space. Rodgers renegotiated his contract to free up a bunch of money to try and get the most talent surrounding him as possible. So does it make sense to go out, maybe give Zack Martin an extra $10 million this year? That gets him up to that, $11, $12 million base pay that he would be getting this year. Maybe you got to go a little bit more, whatever it is. Either way, does it make sense to go out and make a trade to bring him in, to move Elijah Vera Tucker over to tackle? And then next year, maybe you get rid of, say, like a Laken Tomlinson, and you have Vera Tucker and Zack Martin as your 2 guards. And then you try to figure out what the tackle situation sort of looks like at that point. But the point is getting through this year with the best 5 offensive linemen on the field. I don't know, because the Jets do not have a first-round pick this year. More than likely, it's going to be a first or a second. But if you're, thinking the Jets are going to get, go far, and Rodgers is going to play 65% of the snaps, which he basically always has in his entire career, the Jets are giving up their first-round pick, which means you're going to give up, a second-round pick plus some more money to get Zack Martin, only to move your, really highly priced, or not highly priced, highly valued asset in Elijah Vera Tucker and move him to a different position. He projects as an all-pro guard. Why move him to tackle? So it's almost like replacing a okay tackle in, say, Mitchell or Billy Turner, or with a good guard in Elijah Vera Tucker. I'm not going to say he's elite by any metrics. I think he could be an elite guard. And then you add in an elite guard. So it's like elite guard plus good tackle instead of elite guard and okay tackle. So does that valuation make sense? Is it worth it to lose that second round pick and pay the extra money to make this move? I don't think I would do this. I see the value in the Jets offensive line as needing a tackle, and moving, Elijah Vera Tucker shouldn't be the main plan. I think that's like the emergency situation you do if you have to. I don't think you set out to spend extra picks, extra money to move a guy that's already really good at his current position to move into a position that you didn't draft him for. So, guys, I want to hear from you. Let me know down below in the comment section, do you think Elijah Vera Tucker should get kicked out to right tackle? Do you think that the Jets should be in on a trade with Zack Martin? What do you think that trade looks like, and what do you think a contract could come to? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets. Jets!